I always say, if something really steals you and wins your heart and changes your life and you don't share it with other people, you're doing a disservice. If you go back and you really do go all the way back to a stoic years and stuff, people really lived longer. They didn't even have half the diseases that we have. Sleep is super important. I mean, I can tell you, I feel like I am 10 years younger than I did 10 years ago. This product is so beautiful and exclusive, and it's the only thing in the world that can do what it's doing.
Our guest today has over 18 years of experience in cosmetic and reconstructive surgery, and during COVID, she realized that her financial stability was tied to her 9-to-5 job, and that led her to start a successful side hustle in solar with her husband. However, it didn't fulfill her like her medical career did. And in July of 2022, a friend introduced her to a product that transformed her life, alleviating her shoulder pain that was lingering for 5 years. Now she's here to share her revolutionary product and its incredible benefits for your health and your wealth. Welcome to the show, my friend, Kim Ringold.
Hey, thank you so much, Mike. It's awesome to be here. I'm super excited that we're able to connect and share this with everybody. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. And I just want to say, I want to give a shout out to Todd Armstrong, one of your business partners and our business partners, for connecting us. Todd has been amazing. He is the podcast bounty hunter, I call him. He should brand and market that. He introduces me to so many amazing people, and Kim, you're one of them. And to our audience, I just want you to know that Kim and I were recently connected in this product that I didn't name so far. We're going to get into in just a second. But I want everybody to know that I am using this product, and the only reason that I talk about anything on my podcast is because I believe in it, I use it, and it's something that I've actually seen results in as well. And Kim, I'm going to let you share a bunch of testimonials, some of your own testimonials and some of your clients too. And I want everybody to know that you can go to the show notes. Everything's clickable there for you. I have Kim's Instagram, Facebook, and obviously we're talking about Lifewave. And that is linked in there too, so you can check it out. And if you guys have any questions, you can always comment or DM me, and I can also connect you guys with Kim personally if you have any questions. So here's the little setup, right? First, I want to commend you right out of the gates for following your purpose. Following your purpose, that is what the show is all about, Kim. You weren't fulfilled in your last corporate gig. Then you did the side hustle, you did solar with your husband. And now you found something that actually radiates, and I'm intentionally using the word radiate. So I want you to tell us about your journey starting with Lifewave.
Absolutely. Yeah. It, things work in mysterious ways, right? And, you always say, I wish something would just fall in my lap. And, for the first time in my life, something did. So I worked about, 19 years, in cosmetic reconstructive surgery, and it was awesome. It was a great experience. And like many people out there, we know what we know, and that's all we know. We just do what we think that's what we're called to do. And like you said, Mike, during COVID, it opened up a lot of people's eyes to where is our stability? Where is our security in life? And Lifewave fell in my lap in July of 2022. And I was at the peak of performance in solar, and solar just became a booming industry, where a lot of people were going and selling solar, making tons of money. And like you said, it just didn't fulfill me, though. I didn't feel like I got off that call and they signed the contract and I was like, wow, that was just tears and emotions. And it was just, I just changed a life, that wasn't part of it at all. It was like, we just looked at the income we just made and so forth. When Lifewave fell in my lap in July of 2022, it was for the sole purpose because I was in a position, you kind of can see all these little incisions all around my shoulder. I'd torn my rotator, more nasty, they said, than any pro baseball player. And I got the surgery done, but I'm not someone who sits still. So when they released me, I went snowboarding and I got into a horrible accident and retore it all over again. And they were like, you can do surgery again, or you can do the alternative methods. I chose alternative methods. I did injections, spent thousands and thousands of dollars, but I was limited. And there was supposedly no way to get past that limitation. Not even reaching for a bowl in a cabinet, pain, sleeping, pain. Everything was just pain. And it's 5 years of that is all I knew. So a friend told me, hey, you know how you were going to go do stem cells? Well, I think you should do this because this is natural. It's all your own body working on its own mechanisms. It's basically biohacking the body. And my 19 years of brain and medicine was research. So I researched the heck out of it. And then I put it to the test. And I always say, if something really steals you and wins your heart and changes your life and you don't share it with other people, you're doing a disservice. So when this thing completely gave me back my shoulder, in ways that nothing in medicine ever could do. I mean, I'm fully, completely able to do anything. I play pickleball, tennis, push-ups, Pilates. I have my trainer coming tomorrow to my house to do 4 days a week, hardcore boot camp. And it's given me my life back. So I immediately started sharing it with everybody I knew. I was like, you've got to get on this. You have no idea. Like, this thing is powerful and it's so simple. And that started my journey, I'd say about 3-4 months in, 3-4 months in, it showed me what it was capable of doing. I did my due diligence and my research and put everything I had behind it, telling people. And I mean, the rest is history. Now we're, sitting here and it's a whole different world I'm sitting in right now, talking to you.
And so it's been like about a year or so, or about 2 years now that you've been using the Lifewave products?
Yeah, it'll be 2 years at the end of this month. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. That's crazy. Time does fly. So let's back up a little bit. You talked about stem cells. So I'm speaking for myself. Our audience may be a lot smarter than I am. Probably they are. When I think of stem cells, I picture like a laboratory and like a guy literally taking like a cell and like implanting it into the body. Can you explain stem cells, and then how is that technology? Because I know Lifewave is like very similar to acupuncture and acupressure. So talk about, a little bit of the science behind it.
Yeah, and that's the most intriguing part of this, because no one in this world has ever heard of anything like this. So when you start to hear it, they're like, is this voodoo? Is this what is this stuff?
Yeah.
So the actual product, the actual basic makeup and what it is, it's called photobiomodulation, is how basically it does what it does. And if you Google photobiomodulation, your mind will just kind of explode on what this technology is. What we're doing here is we don't have any stem cells. We have no drugs. We have no medication. There's nothing in the product. I have one of them here, actually, so we can kind of see what these little guys are. You'd peel off a back of each one of these things. And inside of here looks so plain and simple. We're like, oh my God, it looks just like a Band-Aid. It looks like something absolutely just generic. This guy spent over 10 years, 99 peer-reviewed medical studies, scientific studies worldwide, blood analysis, urinalysis, brain mapping, everything, you name it, to make sure that this little guy did what he claims it does. But inside of it are these in stratus. It's like a stratus of different crystals that are put inside this patch. And what its technology is meant to do, like you said, acupuncture, acupressure, it works in that way, but it's low levels of light. Like, I'm sure people have heard of phototherapy, red light therapy, blue lights. Well, this is a whole formula. If you could combine dozens and dozens of different kind of UV therapy into one, and you could penetrate low levels of it every single day, that's what this little thing does. And the way that it does it, another thing you can Google, is our bodies emit more light than the sun itself. Like, I had to Google that because I come from medicine. I'm not a scientist. And I was like, that is crazy fascinating. You just cannot see it on the human eye. And so David Schmidt, the founder of this company, spent 20 years in research to find out, how can you take what we're already beaming from our DNA out, revert it back so that it goes straight back into the human body, penetrates as deep as it needs to with a certain wavelength to wake up a stem cell. So talking about stem cells, when you just said that, stem cells are the master cell in the human body that tells every other cell what to do. So if your liver has an issue, the stem cells got to tell liver cells to multiply and divide. And so the problem we have with mankind is that by the age of 30, half of our stem cells are in a dormant place. And by 60, almost 90% are dormant. And that has been an ongoing issue that everybody's been trying to solve. And that was David Schmidt's sole goal in this product, was to revert and wake those cells back up one by one by one by one.
That is insane right there. By 30 years old, it's 50% are dormant. By 60, like 90% are dormant. So it's really, the process is like to revitalize the existing stem cells that are dormant.
Yeah, I kind of think of it in a way like you're turning on the ignition back on. We've never been able to turn the ignition back on to motorize those cells, and now we're motorizing them again.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of that has to do with just the way of life over the last 50 years? More people in front of the TV, smartphones, computers, working from home, and we're just not like, if somebody was doing more outdoor exercising, farming, like kind of what we were doing 100, 150 years ago. Like, do you think the numbers have a lot to do with our behavior as well?
Absolutely do. Because if you go back and you really do like go all the way back to like a stoic years and stuff, people really lived longer and they didn't even have half the diseases that we have. And they didn't have the medications, they didn't have the things to be able to do with their resources, but they lived longer. So yeah, that's David's goal, is to basically, reverse human aging. He wants to be able to reverse the human aging process. And there's very specific key link issues in the human body that are causing this issue to happen. So, you go more in depth to things and you find out like, why are we going from like this healthy child with this beautiful radiant skin and can bounce back if they fall down, if they get sick, they bounce back to the like depreciation to when you're really old, you can't fight anything. You get a cut and it's massively infected. You fall off a chair, you break a bone, you could possibly die because you're so fragile. So how can we keep things more vital and stronger so that the human body can endure and live longer? And the one thing to think about with this product, if you think about the most common sense thing, if you go out into the sun and you lay out on a beach and you sunbathe, your body gets vitamin D levels like high. They start going higher and higher. Well, the sun's not pouring a bottle of vitamin D down your throat. It's a biochemical reaction that's happening between the sun and the body. And that's exactly what these are. It's a biochemical reaction between the light and the body that's a specified wavelength to a specified task.
And guys, I've been patching now. I just started in the beginning of this month. Kim's going to yell at me. She hooked me up. Well, I purchased the patches back in March. I saw my original order and I didn't do anything with it until July. Not because I didn't believe in it. It's just, this is how I work. I have to have like a rigid start date in my head. And I missed the 1st of June. So I said, you know what? I missed I missed the 1st of May and then June. So on July 1st, I put a big thing in my calendar where it was like, alert, put the Lifewave patches on. So I started patching up. And I know there's 2 spots you want to do. It's like kind of on the collarbone, right? Like there's that bone on the back of our neck that you feel at the top of our spine.
Bone on the back.
Yeah. So I've been wearing it there, and I know you can wear it like on your it's called the chi, right? Like in the stomach area underneath your belly button.
Like 2 fingers down on the belly button.
And I've seen people in testimonials talk about putting it more on a area where, like, if someone had a surgery and they got some pain from like scar tissue or whatever might be going on, to wear it in those areas too. But can you speak on kind of the differences between the X39 and the X49 patches? And if you guys are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, the patch that Kim just held up, hold it up one more time. When you buy these, and guys, you know this, Mic'd Up is not typically an infomercial, but this is something I believe in, and I want you guys to see it. So she's holding it up. You just put that either on the back of your neck, underneath your belly button.
On my shoulder right now. So if I put it on my
shoulder, because she's had the 5 years of shoulder issues and surgeries, like she said. So that's like is that the 49 or the 39?
This is the 39. Yep.
Okay. Is the 49 bigger or smaller than that, or same size?
They all look identical, the same, besides basically the packaging is different. The only thing that's different on the nanocrystals inside of it is they're formulated differently so that they trigger a different thing in the body.
Very cool. So they're just kind of engaging a different basically biochemical reaction.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. Biochemical reaction.
They, just to kind of understand like a real quick tidbit on it, David Schmidt started this development back with the U.S. Navy SEALs 20 years ago. And so his goal was to find out how to keep the U.S. Navy SEALs awake, alert, and their oxygen levels really high while they were in these little mini subs. And that was his first ever patch he created. He found a way to at least basically biohack the body to elevate the oxygen levels. And that product went on to the U.S. Olympics with Michael Phelps in them. And that's where he also got one of his very first patents and his protection to say that it's an anti-doping act. There's nothing going in the human body. It's just phototherapy. So it took him over those years to get to X39, 49, which is the babies. It's like the Big Bang Theory, right? Like that's what happened with these 2 products when they went off in 2019. So those are the 2 meccas.
Yeah, and this is obviously an area where you got my attention, and it kind of my ears perked up a little bit. You were sharing that there's some NFL players. I don't know if we can name or not name them, but
Absolutely.
The fact is there's people in the NFL, there's Olympians. You mentioned Michael Phelps. I think he's an 8-time gold medalist or more now.
David
So
Beckham.
Beckham, yeah, this is something that people who are high performers physically are interested in the science behind it, because it's allowing them to recover, perform at a higher level, stay at that endurance level for a longer period of time. Because again, our cells are dormant, and we're just looking to, like, we're not adding anything to the body. It's not something we're drinking. It's not a pill. It's not, a drug. It's just literally allowing our body to rejuvenate and like you said, wake up those dormant stem cells. So we're actually just utilizing our body
What
the
we
way
already
that
have.
God intended
Yep.
on, and we're not. Yeah, it's an incredible thing. It's so simple. What I love about it is it's simple. And there's not, that much into it. Obviously, the science of it, and what was his
It's
name? Help me out.
incredible.
Dave,
David Schmidt.
David, yeah. I don't want to say what he did was simple, because it took years and years. And Lifewave is now going on its 20th birthday, right? So it's a really cool thing that's taken time. But these patches work. I feel it when I actually have it on the back of my neck. You're supposed to do 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
12 hours off.
So I accidentally slept with it last night, so I don't have it on right now, but I'm going to put it on. But when I hold my hand over it, Kim, I feel the radiation. So that's normal. Like, you feel a little bit of that heat. 'Cause
Vibration.
it's doing
Yep.
its thing. Yeah, that's awesome. So if anyone wants more information, I'm going to say connect with Kim. She can give it to you.
Yeah,
if you're
for
interested,
sure.
obviously, in the business side of it, she can give you more information on that. But what I'd like you to do is, there was a moment when you were getting into this, you were just like me. You're like, okay, I want some more information. Your friend was telling you about it. And everyone goes into those, I got some information you need to hear. And we have our wall is up a little bit, right? But there was a moment, like a testimonial, either for yourself. I believe there's a family member who you saw have a tremendous impact from this. Can you share what that first
My
light bulb, like,
mother-in-law.
oh, yeah, your mother-in-law. Share the story
Yeah.
with her. It just, you just said, I get it. This is what I need to be focusing on.
I can tell you guys right now, like, and if you're sitting here wondering if this will work for you, you're not sick, you don't have this issue, whatever I'm naming, whatever we're talking about, this is for every single person on this earth, no matter whether you're healthy, whether you're sick or anything, because you need this, because your body's going to end up keep getting dormant cells. You're either going to pay for your health now, or you're going to pay for your sickness later. And my mother-in-law was the aha moment for me, because my shoulder being repaired was great. It was awesome. But I mean, it wasn't like this. How did this just do what it did? My mother-in-law had 6 open heart surgeries, very, very, very weak. Going to the mailbox, her Apple Watch was just alerting us. Maybe we should get her to the hospital. Medications were not working. And we had chased this battle for a long time. And so I asked her, doctor, hey, what do you think? This is kind of what it's all about. And he's like, it's phototherapy. I don't really see anything detrimental that it would harm anything. There's no side effects. There's no nothing. So we patched her. And within 6 weeks, she already was like, I'm walking back up and down the driveway, no problems. Things are going on. She's like, I feel better. I have more energy. Her restless legs completely stopped. She was tearing holes in her sheets from that. That stopped. Within 3 months, she was already starting water aerobics. And
wow,
it's been a journey that has brought us to our knees crying, because the woman who she is today, she's about 1.5 years on it. She's 68 years old. She's lost like 100 pounds. She looks even younger. She was dancing on our dance floor at Christmas for 2 hours with the DJ. She's lowered all her medications, and she works out now with Pilates with 30-year-olds. Like, she's been given her life back. And that's our family. Like, we want her here for our children. She's a grandma to, our kids and our 5 kids. That really was the pivotal moment where I was like, I have a due diligence to share this with the world. Like, I need to share this with every person I get my hands on. And if they say no, that's perfectly fine, because there's like 1 billion people in this world.
Yeah, all we can do is give someone the information. They can choose what they do with it. If someone has
Exactly.
the key to better health and to like live a vibrant life, and they don't want to take it, that's really on them at that point.
And it's cheaper than a Starbucks coffee a day.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
I mean, just cut
really
back
surprised.
something,
Right. Yeah. And I love Starbucks too. I know you had it off camera. You were
Yeah,
chugging,
but
and
no
you were
one's
making
paying
a little...
me if I share Starbucks. They're not giving me free
Right.
Starbucks if I share it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so that's the thing. Like, we want more people to be healthy and live a vibrant life, longer vitality, right? I actually had that in my notes here. This does promote vitality, but also sleep too, better sleep. And a lot of people
Unbelievable.
overlook it like it's just something we need to do. Like, I got to, get a couple hours or whatever. I should be fine. Like the performance of sleep isn't about the time we're laying in the bed. It's about the other hours that we're awake, right? So, you think about like, yeah, you sleep a third of your life. It sounds kind of depressing. Well, no, that's like your phone needs to be plugged in to charge. Your computer doesn't just run 24 hours a day. It has to be plugged in to work properly and recharge. So this also helps with getting quality sleep. Can you talk about the science in that?
Yeah, I mean, it finally, like a lot of us don't go into REM sleep. We have very disruptive sleep. Even if you're sleeping like 6, 7, 8 hours a night, your sleep is not a actual like REM, like reset sleep. So your body basically
Rapid eye movement is what she's talking
Yep.
about, folks.
Yeah. So your body basically goes back to your younger state, super amazing energy through the day. You're not needing like actually my coffees now are half decaf, half caffeinated. I used to drink coffee, espresso. I had like 6 energy drinks through working in like the hospital, the surgery center and stuff because I had to stay awake. The energy now at 40, almost 45, I'll be 45 in 2 weeks, is through the roof. And then your body knows now, okay, I have this amazing childlike energy during the day. Now I'm going to do that beautiful sleep like a child would sleep at night. And your body's back to that normal, puts back to that normal rhythm. And sleep is super important. I mean, I can tell you, I feel like I am 10 years younger than I did 10 years ago, just because my body's it's functioning at a normal level now. Like it's not relying on all these artificial stimulants and different things like melatonin to sleep and all that other stuff. It's doing it on its own.
Yeah, you're way more balanced now. Well, I'll tell you what, if there's ever a testimonial, I did not know you were 45. I appreciate you sharing that. Some people are funny about age. But if there's ever a testimonial, guys, if you're listening to me, go to YouTube and take a look at Kim. She looks like she's, maybe 32. So, yeah, you look fantastic.
Well, and let me tell you, I mean, I used to work in the industry where I had everything at my fingertips to look that way. And it's funny because half those doctors, I have plastic surgeons in this with me. I have cardiologists in this with me. I have podiatrists. They're all backing this up, but they've come to me and they're like, well, who are you going to now? You look so good. And I'm like, nobody, I'm patching. Like, this is all the patch. Like
my body is just doing its job now. Yeah.
Yes. It's reversing and everything.
I said the word vibrant, I think like 5 times already, but I'm going to keep saying it because that's the best word that comes to me. When you have the right energy and you're feeling good. And I've only been using this now for 11 days. And so I do notice it. I actually will share my little testimonial here. Nothing major, wasn't a surgery, but I had tweaked my back going into the beginning of the month. And I had a problem with my neck. It's probably actually what made me say, I'm going to finally freaking try this out because like, we're going to see what happens here.
What do you have to lose?
I had this weird, I just slept really, really awkwardly. When I was working, I ended up passing out on the couch for a few hours. And when you wake up and your neck is like killing you, but the whole day, it kind of lingers on. So I had that lingering like back and neck pain for a couple of days, and it was like the end of the month. So I said, July 1st, I'm going to start patching. And after I think it was maybe the second day, I felt better. And then by the third day, I felt better than I did before the whole neck and back thing. So I definitely feel it for me, and I do feel it literally like physically radiating. And I definitely do feel like during my meetings, my calls, I've been a little bit sharper. I just have a little bit more additional energy too. I don't drink coffee anymore. I actually completely knocked it out. I drink green tea now. And I'm not trying to tell people, oh, you got to do everything I do, but like coffee for me, I was drinking 4 or 5 cups a day just to survive, just to get to the last meeting of the day. But I would drink it up until like midnight. And so I wouldn't crash. I'd stay up and I'd be thinking that I was being productive. But the amount of work I would get done that late at night was nothing compared to like what I could do at noon. So I would have been better off getting better sleep like we're talking about.
Your adrenal glands were probably just crashed.
Yeah. If a doctor actually evaluated, my levels of everything were off, right? So now I feel like I'm getting back to balance. And that's like what you were talking about earlier. You cut down what you're putting in your coffee. Now you're just doing half and you're balancing. But it's definitely been something that I personally have noticed a change in just 10 days. So I'm excited about the long haul. This is not take it twice and you fix something.
The list just gets bigger and bigger the longer you're on it. Like it started with my shoulders. I could tell you 25 things that it has done since my shoulder. That's what happens. It's just over a course of time, your body just repairs. And we're so used to some things that we've always been living with. Sorry, I thought my phone was on airplane mode. Sorry about that. We're so used to the things that we just have lived with, right? Like I've always had headaches my whole life, but that's just, right? That was just who I was. And I had to take medication since I was like 15, but I haven't had a headache in over 17 months. Like it starts to just go through the body. So like, and people always, their best question, I love this one. They're like, well, do I have to take it forever? And I'm like, yeah, you're thinking of medication. Do I have to take it? You're not taking anything. You're applying something and the body's doing the work. You're not taking anything. It's just that if you don't use this, your body is just going to revert back to that crappy way of working. I call it dysfunctionally functioning, right? Like your body's just dysfunctionally functioning.
The word that's been on the back of my mind, optimal. The word is optimal. This thing helps you function optimally. That's the word. So you don't have to take it, but you're just not going to be optimal. Like if someone's taking it and someone's not taking it, they're further ahead than you are.
Absolutely.
It's like, I don't know, you want to talk about cars or whatever it might be. One person has everything functioning, the proper gasoline and fuel, and the other person's operating with the wrong stuff in the vehicle, or a vehicle that's just not fully fueled. Like it's just not. You have a full tank of gas, your car just has a little extra pep in its step. Or if you're an vehicle, if you're in an EV, when you have the full charge, the car has that extra pep opposed to, hanging on by a thread trying to get to the next supercharger.
Absolutely. So and everybody has to understand that sometimes this will matter to them and sometimes it won't matter to them. And that's quite all right. It's usually the people it doesn't matter. They're the people that nothing really matters until there is an issue. And they don't think ahead of the things, that maybe I don't want to have that come down the road. I want to be able to be in a position where my body's strong enough that if it did, I'm going to be able to combat it. My immune system now, if anything comes my way, man, it's gone like in, same day. That wasn't who I was 2 years ago. If it came at me, I was down for 2 weeks.
Right. Like going to the doctor should be something that's just your regular checkups, check those vitals and everything. And you take this. And obviously, it's not just the patch, it's what you eat. It is if you're sleeping. Are you patching, but you're taking 6 cups of coffee a day? Like, your body's then not optimal because the patch is going to do its thing, but you also have to, it's all about the big side of wellness, not just balance. One area. Yeah, the big picture of wellness.
I always just say this is just the best new add-on you can possibly get. We haven't had this before. It was never available. So just adding this in changes the whole game to everything you're already doing to betterment your health.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great story too. And now it's like you're fulfilled. You get to do what you love. You got to see it help your mother-in-law. It's helped you with your shoulder. It's helped a bunch of your clients. Like this is just something that the energy passes along. You've got people that are interested in joining the business with you, and you're not like, you don't have to beat on doors like old school. A lot of people think sales is this negative thing.
Nope.
Like you're doing it just by coming on podcasts like this one or talking to friends, and you got partners, in the NFL and people that are, you mentioned a couple Olympians and athletes and
Hollywood
Beckham.
celebs.
I mean, people in Hollywood that are looking to live, have their body be optimal. Like I said earlier, like this is not something that you're going to have to do a lot of door knocking. People are coming your way.
And the cool thing is, I will say this, is that, I never was really open to the opportunity of direct sales and stuff like that. But I think the problem is because it's so saturated and there's so much competition and everything's just like a beauty industry or a, protein product or a vitamin or CBDs. There's just so much of it out there that I couldn't say like, this is it, like this product is so beautiful and exclusive and it's the only thing in the world that can do what it's doing. And like you just said, I mean, I'm not going out and trying to build this team and recruit the team's coming to me because people are like, Kim, how do I share this with people? I mean, it did this, and this for me and my mom, and I just want to tell people. And I'm like, well, simply, it's just that. Just go tell people and just share your link and let them try it. It's one of those beautiful things where people get to experience this. It changes their life and then they want to change another life. And there's something about that that's more rewarding than the money I'm making. I mean, yes, I'm making like 3 times what I ever made in my life, but the money's pushed aside. my emotions that I get to feel with people when they're at kind of like this pit of rut. And then all of a sudden in 3 months, they're like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I need everybody to have this. It's a beautiful synergy between everything where this is like the perfect storm of a product with the best like income ever. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Like if you can visualize someone and see what their like vibrancy level is, and actual see like their vitals, if you looked at them, how everything is clicking. It's cool. You see someone that you met and you kind of knew maybe they were just in a lower point in their life. They might have some depression, stuff like that. Then you see them patched up and living a great lifestyle and doing well, thriving, and you can see them like that. Yeah, just it's really cool.
And you're like, I had something to do with that. That's awesome, And then they're gonna go change a life now.
Now it's definitely something that grows once you experience it for yourself. And that's why I wanted to share my story. And so what I'm going to do right now, normally we cut to an ad break. I'm just going to do this live real quick, talking about fueling up your vehicle or charging your vehicle or recharging your body, right, with patching up through Lifewave. We wouldn't have fuel. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing with Mic'd Up if it wasn't for Social Chameleon. And that is one of our sponsors, Social Chameleon, podcasting done for you. Obviously, I'm the founder. You guys know that by this point. But if you guys are ever looking to launch a podcast, need help with it, want it to look great, right? You want it to look better than just throwing up a video on YouTube and hoping for the best. Repurposing your content and having it look great, sound great. And we do all of that for you. Distribution, content, repurposing, scheduling the guests for you, getting great guests in your pipeline as well. Again, it's Social Chameleon. Go to socialchameleon.us. Podcasting done for you. And then also navigatingyourbooks.com. Navigator bookkeeping. I've been working with Nate now. It's probably 3 years. I actually oddly enjoy doing accounting now because I don't have to do it. I just meet with him over a Zoom call once a month. Nate handles all of our books for us. And then he just simply lets me know where we're at. We do our P&L. We do everything I need to know. I used to be like numbers out of sight, out of mind. Like I don't want to see them because it could get me like feeling a certain way, good or bad. And I didn't want it to negatively impact my energy. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I got Navigator bookkeeping. So go to navigatingyourbooks.com. I'll have that. Everything's in the show notes and clickable. And then also Lifewave. I have my link in there too. Full transparency, I'm working with Kim. So it's a distributor link. I purchased the products myself. I'm going to get my family on it. My mom's patched up now. So we're going to continue to spread that through my network. And then anybody who's listening or watching this on YouTube right now, we love you being with us. If you want more information, please reach out. And if you're like, hey, I just want to try it for myself, that's why the link's there. You guys can start patching up yourself. So the resources are there. So let's get right back into the show. Kim, share the inspiration, any inspiration that you want, whatever comes to your heart and your mind right now. There's a lot of people tuning in. They're not fulfilled, right? Like the lights turned off for them. We want to re-inspire them right now. They might be in a current role. Maybe they're in corporate, whatever it might be. It's just, they're looking for a better opportunity and they're not sure what to do. It doesn't have to be with Lifewave, but just in general, can you share some advice to how to kind of re-energize their life again?
Absolutely. I think a lot of us, we just get into this systematic way of things, we go call sheep or we call robotic, and we just get into this habit form of life where you just know, like, this is just the cycle. This is what I do. And getting out of that scares people sometimes. It's just like the unknown. And just speaking from my own experience, 19 years of the same rinse and repeat cycle every day of my life, knowing where I'm going to order food from, all these things. Taking this leap was probably the most terrifying thing I've ever done. But I also knew that I was kind of sick and tired of where I had been at. And, knowing that the product actually, for me, this is just my own testimony, but knowing that the product does what it did, looking at the numbers of growth in the company and the security, I just kind of look and see what was going to all add up, right? I knew I was patent protected for 20 years with an exclusive product. I knew the company had gone from 20 million in 4 years to already almost 600 million. I looked at things in just perspective. And then I also looked at, what is my life like? Where's my freedom? And if I quit my other job and I had to go look for another job, I wasn't being paid while I looked for another job. I was building somebody else's retirement. I was building somebody else's dream. And are you building yours? Are you building out your security for your life, for generations, for your children, your grandchildren? Are you happy with what you're doing? Is it fulfilling you? I think fulfillment, if you love something you do and you're fulfilled, you will excel at it in every which way, no matter what it is. And that was for me, that I'm fulfilling every aspect of what I want out of something. And I just think if you can try to look outside of the box, you don't have to make a crazy leap. I have a lot of people in my business who are working their businesses. Mike is a very busy person. I have a lot of NFL players. They're busy people. Doctors are busy people. But it doesn't take much to have someone just ask you what it is and what does it do? And then you tell them, and then it opens up Pandora's box. And then all of a sudden, you have a whole bunch of people who are spreading the word of this, and it's paying you back tenfold. So I think that is something that people should be a little bit more open to, right? And receptive. Like, it doesn't have to mean take a huge shift in your life and change everything and flip it upside down. But you could find something like this or something else, maybe if it's not this, and just add something more valuable to what you're doing and just see if it works. And if it doesn't work, at least you tried it.
Yeah, I like that strategy you're talking about where you don't have to jump all in. Now, my thing is, I was a jump all in for starting my business, talking about Social Chameleon back in 2017, because my mentality was, if I had one foot on land and one foot in the water gets shaky, I'm going to put the other foot back on land. And so I wanted to jump in the deep end with the sharks and figure it out. And I knew, like, I have to learn how to swim. I have to learn how to survive. I have to get back and create something. You have to build your boat. Or the analogy is jump out, of an airplane and learn how to build a parachute on the way down. The thing I've learned over time is you don't have to wait to build the parachute or understand it after you jump. You can be a little bit more calculated. So what I would like to add to what you said, which was which was great advice, I'd say someone could start planning and getting started now, or get involved with a business like Lifewave or whatever they choose to do. And it can absolutely be a side hustle. You were doing solar as a side hustle. Now you're doing this full time. You're making 3 times as much as you did before. But if not even more. And so someone could start this.
It's nuts.
Yeah. And they can see, I think the best thing is just start, right? You get in there and you start to see the difference it makes for yourself, your friends, your family. This could go for any business. And when you feel that, I feel that with my company, with Social Chameleon, I feel that with Lifewave and everything. That's why I do this podcast. This is not something I do because someone's paying me to do it and I have to do it. I love connecting with people. This is energy for me. You're bringing me energy today. I'm being a little bit of a taker, if you don't mind. I connect with people all around the world, and I love hearing about their story because it gets me excited. It gets me juiced up. Like, look, this person did it. Look how Kim got from what she was doing, and she's not loving it, to how she's now living this life of purpose. And she's sharing that and spreading that with other people. How good does that feel? The whole purpose of Mic'd Up, Kim, you know this already, is to inspire people to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams. And what you just said is go take that chance. So I want to give a little shout out here, jumping ahead in my notes, to your husband. And you said 5 kids?
Yeah.
Because I know that's a big part of your why, right? We always talk about why you do something, and not only why, but they also support you. Like mom, like, they know that you're kicking butt and you're out there, selling patches, right? You're selling the Lifewave product. You're doing it from the right place, and you don't feel like you're taking from them. You're like
right.
supporting
You're
them.
Actually with me every time I travel, my kids are with me. I just,
yeah.
I mean, I just stood on stage with Tim Story and Robert from Shark Tank, and aspires, just like what you just said. It's aspiring to be something greater. And it means to entrepreneurs who want to add something to betterment. And that's what I was there to present. Was maybe you're a real estate person, maybe you're an investor, maybe you're a mortgage person, but multiple streams of revenue has never been a bad thing, right? So adding this in was just a beautiful thing to add to all those people at Aspire. But my kids got to sit there and watch, and like, mom's on stage with a Shark Tank guy. Like, it was just really cool.
It started to click for them. She's doing some pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want my daughters to not be like, mom was gone all the time. Mom was in an office all the time. Like, no, I got to watch my mom. She makes me want to be like her, and that's what I think we need to think about too, is you got kids, you got little eyes watching you, and I want them to be inspired by what I do and changing lives. I mean, if that's what they're inspired by, I wouldn't want anything more than that. It's what I want them to do when they grow up.
Yeah, you're leading by example. So Kim, you've been doing an awesome job. Your family's supporting you, your friends and your network are supporting you. But I got to say, like, when we started this conversation, we talked about the 18 years you did, like, in cosmetic, and then, you did, solar, and now you're doing Lifewave. So it's about 20 years, a little over 20 years. If you could go back in time, hop in the DeLorean and do anything over, like, what would you do anything differently?
I honestly would say no, because, I always knew and wanted something in network marketing. I'd watched friends exceed in it and do well in it. And I knew like it was something I wanted to do. But I'm really actually grateful that I am not the person who went through like 5, 6 different companies to figure out how to find this perfect, beautiful diamond, and it's my one and done. Like I actually went through the trials and tribulations of doing what I did. I learned so much in those 19 years. That has just given me so much knowledge, and especially coming into a company like this, being able to speak to doctors, and explain like, here is Western medicine, here is now the new of functional medicine and biochemistry, and be able to blend them together. I think that was like a gift to me for what was to come in the future. And my solar was a stepping stone to put me into entrepreneurship. It was just my doorway to be accepting to entrepreneurship and say, I can do this. Like I can do it. I can be my own boss. I can do this all on my own. So I don't think I would change a thing, to be honest. I am a big believer of perfect timing. Timing is everything. And then I'm a big believer of manifesting. And really when like I committed to this, like you said, when I was like, this is it, I devoted 24 months. I set a timeline and I'm like, I'm going to give this my all, my everything, all in for 24 months. And guess what? If it's not there in 24 months, that's okay. But I gave it my all. And you guys, in 24 months, I'm jumping on private planes. I'm like, this thing has turned into something that I didn't even think in 24 months had the capability of doing it. So believe in something, put your heart behind something, I think, and just be grateful for the things that, maybe they were stepping stones, or that was like, that was a really bad time in your life or whatever, but there's always a reason for it. And you can always make something good out of that. As long as you keep that mindset. Mindset's everything. I think mindset's the most powerful thing in everything you do. So no matter what you're doing, just make sure your mindset's in the right position with whatever's happening. But yeah, no, I don't think I would change. I don't think I would change anything.
I love that. I haven't really asked that question exactly like that before, but that's an answer that has me thinking too, because I think a lot of times everyone that says like they'll go back, they'll change the past and delete that bad relationship or delete that bad job that worked that they hated and they couldn't stand. And I get all of that. And look, I'm divorced, but I've learned over the last few years to look at it. Yeah, but you look at it and you like life happens for you, not to you. So like the fact that you had that 18-year experience and, look, I had past jobs where I was selling insurance. I worked, selling mattresses and stuff that when I was selling it, I'm like, I just felt like I was doing it because I had to do it to support the family. I'll do whatever I need to do. Now, I took pride in it. I always wanted to help the clients, and I always took it from an area of how I can be of service. But it wasn't fulfilling to the point where I felt like I'm doing something that God didn't put me on this planet to do, and that's never a good feeling. But when you just said that, I'm thinking to myself, like, in the past, I kind of felt like if I could have got started in entrepreneurship, I wish I would have got started earlier. But you know what? In sales, I had to learn all of that. I had to learn how to not be afraid of a phone call or a presentation. And I was a store manager at Sleep Number. I had to learn how to manage a very small team. Now I have an even bigger team than I manage there with my own company. And like, I wouldn't be as good today of who I am if it wasn't for my life experiences. And even with the divorce, like the things I've learned about myself and how I'm a totally different person than I was 10 years ago. And I feel like we always should be evolving and changing and learning and growing and becoming better people. That's an individual thing, is like always learn, grow, develop. Yeah, that's a really great perspective. I appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, and it's like the more we do, the more we can learn from, the more we have, well, like, it's knowledge, right? Like, if you don't do something, you never know anything about it. You don't know how you'd react to it. So that's another reason why I just tell people to get started, because you really don't know how it's going to impact you. Yeah.
And one thing I would say is, if you do get started and you try, like, let's say you try Lifewave and you love Lifewave and it's something that maybe you decide you want to do as a business. The one thing that, I set my feet down and made a commitment to is that, you always hear negative things about network marketing. Like, it failed somebody. It wasn't worth it. They spent too much money. And at the end of the day, really what happens is one of two things. Either the person who brought them in failed them, or they failed themselves because they didn't commit to it and they didn't stay in it, And so if it's something, Mike would connect you with me. I'm building a beautiful team of people. I put everybody, plug them in, and I work with them and I show them exactly how this is done. And I carry them along the way until I make sure that they got this under their wings and they're ready to set their wings and fly. And that has been the reason why I've been super successful, because I hold very dear to my team and they mean the world to me. So if it is something you'd want to do, trust me, you're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, thank you again for being with us and hanging out all the way until the end. I mentioned a few times, but to connect with Kim, I have her Instagram and Facebook, so you can connect with her directly. She's very active there. Which one do you say you spend more time on? Instagram, probably?
I'm back and forth on both nonstop.
Yeah, so either one, whatever one someone prefers.
Either one.
And then
one.
I'm more so on IG, hanging out there. So if you guys want to connect, shoot me a DM if you want more information, if you want to join the team, whatever. This is not why Kim and I did this today. This was not a business play. This was 100% educational, inspirational. If we know that there's a better way, we want you to know that there's a better way, so you can do it for yourself and your family and your loved ones and your whole entire network. And hey, maybe you'll be like Kim and you'll 3x your income over a short period of time.
Kim, I tell everybody.
Any last words before we wrap up?
All I care about is you try it. I mean, at the end of the day, all I want is someone to commit. There is that link, you guys. The silver is a 90-day trial. Give it for 90 days. Trust me, you do 90 days, you'll get 90 days and you will have your life back. You will be thanking Mike up and down. But what is 90 days in the grand scheme of things,
Right.
I just, if you can give it that, you guys, you will see why we're on here and why we're passionate about it and why we say that this is such a betterment of health, because it really, truly, truly is.
Yeah, I agree. Kim, I just want to say I'm grateful for you, for your friendship, for your partnership, and for you being on the show. And I feel like you'll be back again multiple times. Like, there's always going to be new things we could talk about. There may even be some new products down the road. So I'd love to have you on. You could be a regular on the show. You're always welcome here. Thank you so much. Revitalize your life, everybody. And we appreciate you being with us to the end. So I'm going to say cheers.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. Grateful for you.
Thank you.
Keep on moving on.